Publishing for Profit podcast is brought to you by Ghostwriters & Co. Earn more money by publishing better content and learn how to increase your thought leadership so you can build your brand. Head over to ghostwritersandco.com for more information. That's ghostwritersandco.com. And now, your host, Joel Mark Harris.
Hello, and welcome to the Publishing for Profit podcast. This is your host, Joel Mark Harris. We are on episode number 20 today, and we are interviewing a very special guest, Kathy Fester. She is the co-founder of a Gratitude Appreciation Summit. She is also a provider of send out cards, and we talk about both those today. But primarily we talk about gratitude, how you can show more gratitude and appreciation in your life, how you can make it a habit and use them for your daily practices. So hopefully you enjoy this wide-ranging conversation with Kathy. Hi, Kathy, and welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Joel. Thanks for having me today.
You're very welcome. So I'm going to start with a bit of a preamble, and that is I was invited to your Gratitude Appreciation Summit, and I guess it was a bit of a teaser. And I never really thought about gratitude in my own life and how important it is. So I want to start off there. What is gratitude to you, and why do people need to think about it?
Wow. I think being in a space of gratitude, first of all, is a healthier place to be. It's a much nicer place with our hearts. As weird as that may sound, it's really where our heart is placed. I'm a full believer in kindness and sharing that kindness to others. I don't share anger. I don't share frustration. When I am angry or frustrated, I've got a really good reason for it because generally I'm a pretty happy person. And I just think this world needs more of that on a daily basis, especially through the times that we're in right now. We really need to share how grateful we are, not only with one another, but even with ourselves. Like, give ourselves a pat on the back once in a while for, hey, I did a good job. This morning, I got up for BNI. I'm really proud of myself today, and I'm very grateful I was because I was able to give back during that meeting. So I'm grateful to myself. I'm grateful to my friends. I'm grateful to my working partners. I just think it's a really, really healthy place. It's not... BNI is really lined up with it, really, in terms of giver's gain, right? This BNI mantra is giver's gain. Well, I'm very similar with that, is that what I give, I get back tenfold.
Maybe just explain for those who don't know what BNI is.
Oh, sure. BNI is Business Networking International. It's an international body of business people that basically share referrals back and forth. And it's in a very structured, educational format, so that people are not only giving those referrals to one another, but learning from one another and learning how to build our businesses and create those relationships on a higher level, rather than just walking into a store and purchasing something and walking out. It also comes with, I love giving referrals to BNI people because I know I'm going to get the best quality possible and the best price possible for the quality, because if they don't provide that, I'm not going to give referrals to them from other people. So it's, again, giver's gain. And I know that even I take care of a 93-year-old lady across the street, and she called me the other day, and the thing she asked me to do was to braid her hair. Of all things, just to braid her hair. Well, I walked out of the house with flowers and scarves and a tablecloth and great conversation and learning more about this incredible woman from Austria. That fills my heart. It fills my cup. Yeah.
So, a lot of people are busy, myself included. I think about my clients, I think about the business, I think about my family. gratitude is definitely not one of the things that is top of my mind. And I think that's the case for most people. So
Yeah.
what are some things that can make it top of mind, and something that maybe you could practice every day to help just show that gratitude?
Oh, there's so many different ways. Um, I think showing gratitude, it's a habit. It's a skill that you develop. It's like trying to live on your promptings on a daily basis, and being thankful, saying thank you, not just hey thanks for opening the door. It's like thank you for opening the door, and creating that habit in your life. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't think about brushing your teeth anymore because it's a habit. It's the same sort of thing with gratitude. There's lots of strategies that you can use to develop that skill. It's exercising the skill. Some people use a gratitude jar, or a gratitude journal, or have a whiteboard and today I'm grateful for, and that's what they live their day by. I, of course, work with send out cards and share gratitude that way. I send lots and lots of different cards and gifts of thanks to people, and they're heartfelt. They're not like from your dollar store. They're not like a Hallmark where 10 people get the same birthday card. They're custom made to the person creating that relationship. And that's really what it comes down to, is making that human connection on a true, heartfelt, grateful way.
Can you maybe talk a little bit more about the journaling, especially? I'm a big believer in journaling.
Mm-hmm.
How can you practice that? And tell me a little bit about the jar technique as well, because that sounds interesting.
Yeah, sure. Well, the journaling is something that I do it at nighttime. A lot of people do it first thing in the morning. Wake up in the morning, you have a book by your bed, and you just write, today I am grateful for. And you review that. And you review it at night saying, check, yes, I did that. That's the most common way. Ladies get a little fancy with it and put it in a scrapbook type form with pictures and drawings and coloring and all that kind of stuff. I'm not one of them because I'm horrible at that. But the jar is another way, where you have a piece of paper, and some people will do it for a year. Some people will do it for a week or a month, where you just write down on a scrap piece of paper anything that comes top of mind on that piece of paper and put it in the grateful jar. And then at the end of the month or the week or the year, you go through that jar just to remind yourself. So you're making that individual connection to that piece. It's incredibly powerful writing things down. As you may know, when you write things down, it becomes part of you. It's a brain connection. I did my master's degree on a lot of brain research and how that works. And it's not just looking at a screen and trying to remember what you see on the screen. When you write it down, it makes that connection in the brain. And I believe it then connects to the heart. So that's the importance of it, I think.
I think that's amazing, and especially during these times with COVID and everything that, like you said, everything that's going on in the world, to have, I think I'm going to start doing that. Actually, the jar technique sounds really interesting, because it's not only the act of doing it, of writing it down and placing it in the jar, but then, recalling those instances. And I
Yeah.
think that's very healthy,
Yeah.
especially when you don't have that connection right now that you would have pre-COVID. So
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Well,
Can
it's giving
you?
yourself a hug. We can't get a hug in person right now, right? So why
Yeah,
not?
yeah, exactly. So can you tell me a little bit about how you practice gratitude on a daily basis, and what are some things? I know you mentioned the lady with the braiding her hair, but what else do you do that that can be habit forming, and that gives you joy and that gratitude every day?
I think through all of the personal development that I've gone through in the last few years, especially the last 2 years, um, I've learned to slow down. I've learned to slow down and smell the roses. I've got some beautiful calla lilies in my front garden that just keep blooming and blooming. We've got black ones, purple ones, and white ones, and they're just beautiful. And of course, calla lilies were my wedding flower. But rather than walking by them really fast, I actually take in the moment and take it in and be grateful for those beautiful colors. I take in the moments of the beautiful sunshine. I take the moment and being grateful for the fact that I have the most amazing husband on the planet. A day doesn't go by that I am not grateful for him. I don't think a moment goes by. Same thing with my daughter and my other family members. You know, it's just taking a moment. We get so wrapped up on our daily busy lives, and I know what that's like. I've burnt out twice in my career where I had to leave my job and go to another place. So I've been there. I've been at rock bottom a couple of times, and I've had to learn and train myself how to smell the roses, take some time. I walk in my backyard periodically in bare feet just to get grounded with the earth. And again, it sounds kind of funny, but it works. It works so well. So that's my daily practice. And yes, I slip up. Some days I get wrapped up with the stress of life, because we all have it. But during this COVID time, and it's not going away anytime soon, I don't believe, we have to find new strategies to cope. We watch people having mental health issues all around us. And it's like, okay, wait a minute, let's back up and let's learn from it. I think there's a reason why it's happened in 2020. You know, 2020 vision, right? And we all took that as 2020 vision to make our business better. I think it's bigger than that. I think it's, let's have a look at how we do things and how can we make an improvement on that so we don't end up the same way that we were before. And I'm grateful that we've had this time. It sounds really bad, but I've been thankful for this COVID in some ways, because I've accomplished things that I would never have accomplished otherwise, because I'm home, I'm with my loved ones, I'm making the relationships matter most by taking the time. So
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I started this podcast and during COVID, and there's definitely something that would have never taken foot outside when, you know, now I do have extra time. I'm not commuting to work,
yeah,
and so it's definitely a time to try new things and to keep learning. So I think that's very important. Can
yeah.
you give us some strategies about how to slow down and how to take your time? Because I think, again, that's super important. It's something I'm, you know, full disclosure, I'm terrible at. You know, I'm definitely a go personality.
Yeah, yes.
So any suggestions that you could give, you know, me, the audience, on how to
I
take my
think it's
time with
finding,
things? Yeah.
yeah, no, I get that. I think it's finding something that you um, can connect to, a hobby. Um, I'm forced to slow down helping my daughter. We go for drives regularly, and I don't drive fast. I take back roads. We have found all sorts of really cool neighborhoods, all the way out to Chilliwack. Sometimes we go. Sometimes they're 2-hour drives. I know it's not great for the environment. However, I'm going really slow, and we're actually stopping and looking like the herons. So I've sort of been forced to slow down, and I'm so grateful for my daughter, even though I hate seeing her struggle so much. It's been a gift to me, because those special moments, taking the time to set up a nice dinner table for your wife, right? Or having a special moment, reading a book or watching a movie. Last night I watched Hamilton as a family, right? Which was really, really cool. It's not something that we do normally. So it's just finding those special things. I don't think we can be in the moment 100% of the time, because there is life. You got to pay the bills. You got to do the dishes. You got to cook. You got to clean. You got to do the laundry. You know, all those regular life things, plus your business. But even 5 minutes is better than no minutes. You know, take 5 minutes. I know that one technique that I used during my teaching online was the, oh no, the name has left me. where you are focused on one task only. So I think that's part of the problem, is many of us are multitaskers. We like to juggle balls a lot. It's like we're trying to prove something. And I don't know what we're trying to prove, because we're not proving anything to anybody. But focus on one thing for 25 minutes, just one thing. And every time you go off task, you put a check mark on a scrap piece of paper. And the idea is that you train your mind, focus on one thing for 25 minutes, take a break for 5, focus for 25 minutes, take a break for 5, focus something for 25 minutes, then take a half an hour break. And I taught that to my students. And by the end of it, they had no check marks, because every time you put a check mark is when your brain, went somewhere else and wasn't on task. So the idea is to get rid of those check marks. And I find that by compartmentalizing, is that a word?
Yep.
In short little snippets, like I've become a scheduler queen, man. You schedule those little chunks here and there for the different aspects of your life that you're responsible for. That's made a huge difference, including 5 minutes to take a breath. I've put that in my calendar. When I feel things getting all ramped up and I really need to take a breath, or I get a look from my husband saying, it's like, okay, 5 minutes at this time. And I stick to that. I put an alarm on, right? As weird as that sounds. And it makes it so much better. It's time for yourself, right? Time for yourself.
No, I think that's important too.
Yeah.
And I guess a side note, I'm one of those people who thinks that multitasking is a myth, that your brain can only focus on one thing at one time. So, I think, that's important. How do you schedule? Like, is there any tools that you use for your schedule? Is it just like plain like paper and pen, or do you use like Google Calendar, or is there any trick to it, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah. I think the only trick that I have, and I learned this from Steve Harvey, was on Sunday nights, I write a list of the list of things that I want to get done. And then I only do 3 tasks a day. And his method works really, really well. Don't add anything. If you've got extra time, then do one of those meaningful things. But only tackle 3 things on one day. If you're doing more than that, you're not giving your best product. And I learned that from him, and that's been really helpful. I used to use paper, but during COVID, I've really been using the electronic calendar, mostly iCal. When I start working, doing school again, I may have to go back to paper. I don't know. It depends, because when I teach music, so I can't have a computer in front of me all the time. So the iCal doesn't work very well, but I have paper in front of me all the time. So I'll have to figure that out. That's a lifelong goal, I tell you, because I've got 5 different calendars. Right?
Yeah, me too. I'm bad at that.
5 different calendars that I keep track of. So it's kind of juggling that way, but I wouldn't do it any other way. There was a time before I had children that I could remember it all, but no, not anymore.
So you mentioned you're a teacher, you teach music, and you're also an advocate for music programs and fine arts. Can you tell me a little bit about why those are important in school, and I guess in life as well?
Oh, wow. You're opening a big Pandora's box. You know that, right? Oh, dear. Well, I guess I'm a real advocate for fine arts education, for all the fine arts, specifically music. I've been president of the provincial board. I was president for, I'm going to look at my thing here, 4 years. And I was secretary on the board for many years. Basically, I served for 12 years on the board. And now I'm a senior person. I'm now the mentor. Wow, I can't believe I'm that old. But people come to me with, okay, my principal is deciding to do this. How do I handle it? So I work with educators around the province still in an informal way, totally voluntary, because we believe so strongly that music is a must in all students' lives. We do lots of music with babies right up until preschool, and then all of a sudden it's sketchy. And if you think about it, music is the unspoken word. It's how people express themselves. I could give you many examples of it. When I'm so passionate about it, I did my master's in fine arts education. And at the time I was teaching grade 6-7 classroom in a middle school. And year one, I taught the traditional teacher way, book and paper, traditional. French class, math class, math class. Then in the second year, I taught French and math and PE and all that kind of stuff through art, drama, dance, and music. So I had the kids learning the curriculum in all their subjects through those 4 disciplines. And the data that came out of that was just unbelievable. And there's so much research out there as to seeing the value of it. And if you think about it, and I'll use one of the hardest hit things was 9/11. I'll just use that as a quick example. 9/11 happened. It was the change of our world that we've never seen before. We'll never go back to the way it used to be, ever. I watched the second tower come down on TV live, and it still affects me when I think about it. And a long story short, but a couple of my friends, they were string players, they lived in New York, and they went to the fire hall where all the firemen were coming to get food in between their shifts to take a rest before they went to the recovery sites. And they just played music because there were no words to express the emotions that were going through people worldwide. We turn to music every single day. We have it on the radio, we have it in TV, we have it in movies. Can you imagine this world without music? Well, we're not looking to have music education to have a bunch of musicians in the world. We're having music in our school systems to develop the brain. It helps stroke victims. If you sing in a choir, singing in a choir is the one thing that will get the whole brain activated at once and can actually retrain the brain in areas that were damaged for the stroke so that you actually heal faster and don't even have signs of stroke anymore. Oh, I could go on. I told you, it's a Pandora's box. There's just so much research. I'm so passionate about it. And now that my mentors are passing away, there's really only one left here, and he's very well known in all of North America. He's a very good friend of mine. Now that he can't do it anymore, it's up to the older generation, us, to pick up the sticks and start conducting, and helping others. And it ties in with gratitude so well. I use it daily with my students. Every one of my kids and families got a card in the mail saying, hang in there. Hope you found some toilet paper. All of the different challenges. I had some kids that were on suicide watches that I had to report. And it was just because of that relationship that I built with them and with people that, hey, something's up. Something's up. Let's make that personal connection with them. So again, taking time to breathe so that you're aware of what's going on. Even this morning at BNI, we had an incredible presentation given. None of us knew what that background was. We spend as a society making assumptions that people are just the way they present themselves. But, everybody's got a story to tell. Why not show that through kindness and gratitude?
Wow, I'm a little bit speechless. I have to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
have to say. No, I mean that's amazing. That's fantastic. Have you seen? So where I want to go is, you've seen probably those posts on Facebook, social media about how, the arts in general, me being an artist as well in terms of writing, not in music, but, writing and everything. These are the things that we live for. It's the art. It's, the science and healthcare, obviously super important. And they're the ones that's what sustains life. But the reason we are, we want to live, I believe at least, is for the art, for the music, for the writing,
Absolutely.
all those, the films and the books. And so I think, I don't know if you want to comment on that or if
no, you're absolutely right. It's part of what society is built on. And because it's so not understood. It's like science. If you don't understand why something happens, it's like COVID. People not understanding COVID because you can't see it. So it must be okay. It's the same sort of thing. Because you can't necessarily see how it's created and where it comes from as an art form, it's just, oh, isn't that pretty? Well, there's way more to that, right? Last night watching, it was Hamilton that we watched. My husband and I were sitting there watching it with my daughter, and it was like, wow, we had no idea. Like, we knew a little bit about Hamilton. There were so many messages in this musical, like so many. And this was in the late 1700s that this happened, and all the issues that were in this musical are still here today. And it's like, oh my goodness. But what did they go to? It was an art form, right? It was an art form to express those things. I'm also a potter. I have a pottery studio in my basement, and that's my Zen zone. That's where I get true Zen moment, where I can spend 8 to 10 hours throwing pots, and it feels like 2 hours, because I love it. I absolutely love it. I go somewhere. Oh, wouldn't it be nice if everybody had a go-to place to go, that has that kind of effect on them? My husband's is fly fishing. When I watch my husband fly fish, oh, he's a different guy. He's so relaxed and so calm, and just so grateful. Yeah, but no, arts are incredibly important. And again, I could go on. I've got books and books and research, having done my master's, right? It's so important. And I think what's interesting is music is the one thing that's intangible. You can see the dancing, you can see the drama, you can see the art, but you can't see music. It's all in here. So it's, very powerful. Great questions, Joel.
So how can somebody support the arts? And you can take this in if you want to talk about school, but you can take this question in any direction you want.
Oh, well, actually, what's interesting is we actually have two political bodies in our country and our province, called the Coalition for Music. And they are parents that run the boards and do the fundraising and do the political efforts. So when the government needs to hear how to do things, quite often the parents' voices are always louder than the teachers. People do not listen to teachers because we're wah, 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 right? Now, I'm not, but that's the impression that people have, right? Because people don't truly understand what we do. Even the government doesn't understand what we do, right? They run us like a business. We are not a business, but we're forced to run like a business. So the Coalition of Music BC, and there's the Coalition of Music in Canada. And they were bodies set up for that. And they are always looking for new members, and they're always looking for donations. I know that, for example, September, we don't know how school's going to be. So they have, and that's what I've been doing for the month of July, is being on that advisory board along with the coalition and our BC Music Educators Association, and choral and drama and art, and looking at what can it look like that's safe in September. And the government is actually looking to us for that advice as a coalition, which is really great, because there's no political gain by it. It's all about belief system, right? So, I mean, that's one way.
That's cool. I think, school especially is going to be up in the air it's really only like a month and a little bit away, right? And and if we do have resurgence, which it kind of looks like we will, I think it's going to be very challenging
for everybody.
For everybody, for sure. But anyways, I want to talk about the Gratitude Appreciation Summit. So it's October 3rd, I believe.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek about what that is? Why should somebody attend? And maybe just a little bit about the speakers, because the roster looks very exciting.
Oh, we're really excited. In fact, Angus Reed's books arrived at my front doorstep today. Getting those all ready to send out. The Gratitude Appreciation Summit is a brainchild of a good friend of mine, Jeanette Martin. She read this book by Cody Bateman, Human Connection. I think you've got a copy of it too. I was just looking through it to prepare for this podcast today, and I'm going, oh yeah. Like every time I open it, I come up with something new to think about. So she read the book and came up with this idea of having a gathering of people all in one space and sharing harvest tables and networking with one another and having vendors be there to share. Some were gratitude category vendors and others were appreciation category vendors, because there's a difference between gratitude and appreciation. Quite often those two words are used together. There's a difference between the two. Gratitude is the emotion, appreciation is the action. And sometimes it's the appreciation that gets forgotten, right? So it was finding guest speakers to come and share their knowledge as to how they implement that with their business, with one another, and with themselves. Unfortunately, we had to change that format, so we're now virtual. So what we've decided to do is have a one-day event on October 3rd with a variety of different speakers, and we have two special guests that are towards teens. We're actually inviting teenagers onto this. Chloe Johnson, she's from San Francisco area. She's an entrepreneur. She homeschools. She's 13. Oh, wow. And she teaches other teenagers how to do business. And that's why she homeschools, because she's so busy traveling the States and doing online education moments with teenagers and so forth. And she started her own business at age 9. And with the support of her mom, she's now the humanitarian award winner, or recipient, of W. Bush Senior for the States. She's the smallest little package of energy I've ever seen. I've only met her online. She's just amazing. And we have a young fellow here named Noah, here actually in Coquitlam, and they're going to join forces together and share their entrepreneurship together for teenagers. So while we as adults are working on different topics that aren't necessarily suitable for students, teenagers, like it's a much deeper level, the teenagers will be in a different room working with the two of them. And there'll be a variety of different opportunities to have one-on-one discussions with some of the guests that are there. Angus Reed is one of our headliners, retired BC Lions football player. He was at our preview event in June. A fantastic guy, really makes you think differently. Cheryl Bishop, who is in charge, founder of Resilient Women in Business. Diane Ralston is a business coach, life coach. She's fantastic. She has a really unique way of helping your business grow, and she brings it out of you rather than her telling you what to do. Oh my goodness, who else is coming? We've got an RCMP officer that's going to be saying a few words of gratitude to the public, actually. He's got a really unique story to share. We have a lady from Belgium that is a cancer survivor, and what she claims helped is her vision of gratitude to help her sustain herself through the cancer, surviving. Oh, we've got so many stories. Those are just some of them. But the event goes from, we sort of start at 9:45. The event starts at 10, and we go till 4:30. We'll have some breaks in the middle so you can go get the snack or lunch or what have you. But it's basically a convention, in person, online, as in person as we can be. And our whole vision is to take this worldwide. We already have Chicago's asked us to come, Hawaii, Seattle, Toronto, and Belgium. So we see big things for this movement. It's really a movement. It's our goal, Jeanette's and my goal, is really how can we extend the whole vision of Send Out Cards with Cody Bateman, because he really is the backbone of this. It was all in a prompting that he had when his brother passed away suddenly in an accident, and he didn't tell him that he loved him before he passed away. And he has lived and breathed since 2004 this company, and how we can build that whole mission statement on a much more global level to create kindness in this world. There is so much ugly. And I still believe there's more kindness than ugly out there, but I'd like to see the kindness more on the forefront. And that's really what our mission is with this event. So we've got an early bird price on now till the end of August. That will include this book, this book, and 4 other books. Plus our swag bag, because it was supposed to be in person. So we've got pins and swag bag and name tags, special name tags, and books, of course, that we're going to send to any early bird person that registers, and you'll get it before the event starts, which is really, really cool. So yeah, we're really excited about this. It's just the beginning. Doesn't it make you feel good, Joel?
Yes, it does. It does. Especially, we've had this conversation numerous times, but I think it's important to bringing up again is that I open Facebook, I scroll through and all I see is negativity, like people should be doing this, people should be doing that. And so this is definitely some fresh air, so.
And we need it right. We need it right now. We need to have those virtual hugs right now. We are hungry for connecting in a meaningful way, right?
So now I think it's, you mentioned send out cards, Cody Bateman. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with them, what they are, and why are they special?
Oh boy. Well, send out cards was quite a fluke that it found me. My husband and I spent an exorbitant amount of money adding 350 square feet on our home, and we did it right. Unfortunately, when you do it right, it costs a lot of money, more money than you plan. And we were literally bleeding money. We were literally bleeding. And it's like, oh man, like we can't, the hole's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And both my husband and I are professionals. It's not like we don't get a good salary. It was just not a good position to be in. So I thought, well, one of us has got to get another job. Well, I know my husband's not, because he works 24/7. So there's no time for him to do that. I like to juggle. Yes, I admit it. I'm a juggler. So I got invited I had done some MLM companies in the past, and they just ended up being too expensive. Great products, love them, absolutely adore the companies, but just too expensive, can't afford it. So I had to give that up. One of them was a little joke on the side. One of them was a skin company. It's like, how old do I look? Really hard to sell a skin product to make yourself look younger when you look like me. Anyway, so I abandoned that one really fast. Anyway, a good a friend of mine, kept inviting me to these home parties. And I said, no. My husband and I have decided, no. I got to find another way of making an income. Well, she wore me down. And one of the leading people with the company was a guest in Burnaby. And okay, I'll go, because her husband's a good friend of mine. I went to university with him. We work in the same district, So I went, and my socks were knocked off. It's like, this is affordable. Like, holy cow, who can't not afford $17 a month? Like that's easy. I can do that. So I signed up as a customer for a while, and not only did it help us pay off our debt, and it took a few years, absolutely. Not only did it help us pay off our debt, but it now pays for our traveling. And now we're really saving, because there is no traveling. So, but like, we went to Hawaii. My husband and I had our 20th wedding anniversary in Hawaii. Our Christmas dinner was Subway sandwiches, because that's all we could find for Christmas dinner. And it was awesome, but it was my business that paid for it. So what became as a result of that, it helped us financially. Now I work the business, but not the way I used to, because it's become more of a philosophy. It's a living philosophy for me. Sending a card, sending a gift, sending a thank you, I'm thinking of you, to people literally all over the world. on a regular basis and helping people feel good. So I've morphed into another philosophical background to that. The professional development that I have received from the company has been enormous. I am a very different person today than I was 6 years ago. Very different person. I understand business a whole lot more. Would never have understood that. I'm just a teacher. And I know my friends keep saying, don't just say that, but I am. I'm just a teacher. We don't get to go to the bathroom. We don't get to have lunch breaks. We don't get, like, we don't get to go to the grocery store in the middle of the day. I didn't realize until I was on mat leave how abnormal teachers' lives are, right? We can only shop on the weekends when it's the busiest, So what's happened out of it is this philosophy and becoming a leader within the company and sharing that philosophy with others. Send Out Cards is a great company. Like I said, it's been around since 2004. It's growing. It's actually grown during this pandemic because of the need. There's different ways of sending cards. There's packages that are available for any financial budget. And they're always improving and always changing and always building. It's not the same company it was in 2004. Technology wasn't what that it is now. So I'm excited to be part of it. It's really great. And Cody is, he's your motorcycle, Harley Davidson, rough around the edges kind of guy, but man, he's got a heart of gold. And he just believes in the relationship marketing piece. It's all about building those relationships to build your business. And I think the biggest piece out of the book, The Human Connection, that he made on how relationship marketing is transforming the way people succeed, is the whole 80-20 rule, right? 80% of your work in your business should be building those relationships. Only 20% should be the marketing. And there's a marriage between the two, absolutely, but we need to spend less time. I don't know how much junk email you get. I get a ton. Yep. And it's annoying. That is not creating business. That is not creating relationships. And how many people delete those? I know I'm not the only one, right? So that's really the nuts and bolts of it. And I'm thrilled that I am able to bring this whole philosophy into my classroom. It's made a world of difference. I almost want to do my master's degree on it.
So for a company that wants to, they say this is great, this sounds good, they want to get started with Send Out Cards, what's a good place to start, and how can it help them build those relationships, get more business?
It's really coming up with a strategy to keep in touch with that client. It takes 8 to 12 contacts, whether it's a phone call. Oh wow, yes, phones. Get back to using phones, people. An email sometimes gets through. Facebook, LinkedIn is a very powerful tool as well. And then of course cards. Sending that tangible card. Send Out Cards has a system and a service in place that makes it really, really easy. We have it on our phone, and we have it, and you can also use it on your computer. So it makes it really, really, really easy. You can custom make it with photos off of Facebook, off of your phone, off of your whatever. Whether it's using Send Out Cards or a different system that you create yourself, it's all about those touch points. It's all about that. A month down the road, hey, thanks for coming into my store the other day. How is it working out for you? Is there anything I can do? No marketing involved at all. It's just like, hey, how's it going, right? That's huge. That is absolutely huge. It's just that so happens that Send Out Cards is a system that's already set up for you that makes it easier. You don't have to create it from scratch, but anybody can do it. I have a number of clients that used to handwrite cards and send them. Now they use Send Out Cards because literally they're too busy. They don't have time to handwrite cards anymore. There's a famous salesman, car salesman, and the name has left me now. I should have written it down. But he did that. He actually had sold so many cars that he had to hire ladies to do the cards for him. And he never missed a birthday of anybody, even if they didn't buy a car. he would send them a birthday card, and he'd have lineups at the dealership. And he's the world's record holder for the most sold cars. It's like, wow, like that's what it is. It's making a connection. Yeah. So it's a case of, if you want to see what it's all about, I do I do offer one free card to anybody that's interested, to look at it. No commitments. You get to send one free card just to try out the system. And then I've got services that I supply to people that are too busy to create campaigns. And there's the group sends, and I don't know, there's so many different ways you can use it. So
can you talk a little bit about the campaigns and what those are?
Yeah, the campaigns are really cool. I'll use a real estate agent as an example. A campaign could look at, like, for a real estate agent, as you sold the house. You take a picture of the house. Congratulations on your new home. Send a card, send a pack of brownies. That's our number one seller, pack of brownies. Welcome to your new home. A month down the road, have another card in your campaign saying, it's been a month. Is there anything I can do for you? How's it working out? In the campaign, have Christmas card or a New Year's card. Also in the campaign, have a 1-year anniversary for the purchase of your house. And you can set those cards up ahead of time, as many cards as you want. Press the button once to set the dates, press the button once, and you never have to think about it again. The system will send it for you. The company actually has pre-made campaigns as well that you can actually use. But anybody can use it. Contractors, electricians, car dealers, repair guys, insurance salesmen, real estate, it's a no-brainer. Dentists, doctors, like anybody, bankers, any walk of life can use the system in one way or another. Yeah.
So this is a question I ask all my guests, and I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. And what is your favorite book?
Oh, goodness. I don't have a favorite book. I really don't, Joel. I have my professional development books. I have my downtime books. I have my, I'm starting to read the biography of Hamilton. It's like 2,000 pages. It's really big. I think for professional development right now, my two favorite is Selling from the Heart by Larry Levine. I had him as a guest a few months ago. He's an awesome guy. It's selling authentically, learning how to do that rather than being the typical salesman. Then, of course, Human Connection. But I have like a whole bookshelf. This is one of many bookshelves full of books. And I'll be a little corny. My go-to relaxation at the cabin book is Danielle Steele. She's got a formula, easy to read. I can totally relax. But I'm an avid reader. My husband and I kind of joke. We have so many books in our house that we have a bookshelf in every room in our house except the bathroom. We even have one in our kitchen. I'm serious. A bookshelf in every room. Oh, it's crazy because we're avid readers. We love learning and reading. And but yeah, so I really don't have a favorite book. I know that's a terrible answer, but I'm a reader. I'm a reader.
Well, Kathy, thank you so much for being on the show. Really appreciate you taking the time. For people who want to reach out just to connect, maybe buy a ticket or learn more about send out cards, where can they find you?
kit@fester.ca. That's my email, KIT@fester.ca. And you can also check out Gratitude Appreciation on Facebook. That's actually every Thursday night. I forgot to mention this. Every Thursday night we're doing a talk at 7:15 live every Thursday night. Gratitude and Appreciation. Facebook, you don't have to be invited. You can just find it, search it. And then our website, it's Gratitude Appreciation Summit. GASUMMIT, so one S, gassummit.ca.
All right, thanks so much, Kathy. And
thanks for having me, Joel.
You're
this
welcome.
Is fun.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Publishing for Profit. Please like and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.